Welcome to Thriller Recaps. Today, I am explaining the movie, Project Power, explaining every scene as it happens. Watch till the end, and please like, share and subscribe if you enjoy this. Robin Riley was a dealer for a pill called Power. It granted various superpowers for 5 minutes. One day, she was ambushed by some boys pretending to be buyers at an abandoned amusement park. They overpowered her and took away her backpack containing the pills. In the backpack, there were 3 pills. Meanwhile, a man named Frank Shaver, a detective for NOPD, arrived at the scene with his bike. He had his gun pointed at them. One of the boys attempted to take a pill, but Frank dared him to try it. He warned the boy that he might get powers or he might explode. This made the boy pause, though one of his friends encouraged him to go ahead. Quickly, Frank collected the drug from the boy before he could take it. Then, he sent the boys on their way while arresting Robin. However, it was all an act. Frank actually bought the pill from Robin. To top it off, he gave her the bike he came with as a gift. Together, Robin and Frank rode the bike home. Upon reaching her house, she stashed the money she made in a box. Meanwhile, Art tracked down Newt LaSalle, a pill dealer and Robin's cousin, looking for the pill supplier. Newt didn't tell him. Instead, he took a pill which transformed him into a burning man. Then, he went after Art. Art shot him, but it didn't do much to Newt. So, he chased after Art. As the chase begun, Newt took 3 more pills. Newt was poured hot water by the occupant of the house they were in. This seemed to douse out some of his flames, which Art noticed. So, he went to the bathroom and turned on the water in the bathtub. He waited for Newt to come looking for him there. As soon as Newt entered the bathroom, Art started dunking his head inside water, asking him the name of the supplier. Newt gave the name, saying it's Biggie, but before Art could get more information from him, he exploded from a drug overdose. Art was knocked out by the force of it, so he fell unconscious. In this state, he saw a dream about his daughter being taken. He was woken up by some kids. Meanwhile, Robin's mom, Irene, woke her up for school. Irene saw the news on TV about Newt's place being on fire, which she told Robin when she joined her, dressed for school. Robin promised that on her way back from school, she would get her diabetes medicine refills. Art dressed some burn wounds he sustained and changed his clothes at a gas station. He checked Newt's phone, but he couldn't understand the messages. At school, Robin sent a text to Newt asking if he was alright. Art, who's now with Newt's phone, responded to her, pretending to be Newt. She wanted them to meet. During a bank robbery, Frank took the pill which seemed to harden his skin, making him bulletproof. Then, he entered the bank. He passed the robber, who also had used the power pill, making him invincible. Frank chased after the robber as he tried to escape with the bags of cash. The robber sneaked into a vehicle and tried to open the bag, but a pink smoke exploded out of it. The vehicle stopped, giving the robber enough time to run. But Frank chased after him. He hurled himself at the robber, causing both of them to fall. The police arrived there too. They witnessed the robbers shoot Frank in the head with Frank's gun. Luckily, his skin protected him, though he fell, making the robber think he was dead. Frank stood up, surprising everyone. Then, he tackled the robber to the ground, punching him repeatedly until he was stopped. His superior, Captain Crane, asked him if he had used the pill. Frank responded that he had. Crane ordered him to hand over his gun and badge. Frank convinced him to let him go after the creators of the pill. So, Crane showed him a picture of Art in a newspaper, depicting him as an army major. Crane told Frank that Art was the source of the pill, instructing him to apprehend him. Meanwhile, Art got to the meeting point, which happened to be a fast food place, where he waited for Newt's cousin. Robin arrived there, and Art realized that she was Newt's cousin. He abducted her, driving away with her in his trunk. Frank called her to get more of the pills, but he got her voicemail. Art stopped his truck at an isolated place, and interrogated her, but she refused to speak, claiming not to know the supplier. Meanwhile, Biggie and his boss, Dr. Gardner, talked about their client who had links to a lot of cartels. As she arrived to buy their pills, Biggie went to welcome the woman. He told her that the pills would make her the most powerful woman in South America. Frank went to his usual meeting point with Robin at the abandoned amusement park, but he didn't find her. Instead, he got a text from her asking for help. Meanwhile, Art made Robin call the people supplying power pills to ask for help. She got directed to a supermarket where she was to use a password to get access. Art gave her instructions to tell the person she met that she saw him. At the supermarket, she met a guy named Guello. She told him that Art was outside making him take a pill. He told her to stay there because it's where she would be safe as he headed out after locking the door. Art asked Guello where Biggie was. A shootout ensued, and the guy yelled for the truck to be moved, which happened to have Robin inside. Art overpowered the men. Then, he checked on Robin, but out of nowhere, he was shot by Guello. More gunshots were heard before it went quiet. Then, someone started trying to open the door, and it was a wounded Art. He mistook Robin for his daughter Stacy, but Robin talked, snapping him out of his imagination. He broke into a door which led into a room filled with monitors. Art told Robin that the government didn't approve of the drugs to be tested, so the manufacturers were using the drug buyers as lab rats to test it. Art saw that Biggie was organizing a demonstration for buyers which was about to go down. Robin ran out of where she is, trying to escape. She saw Guello shot dead as she exited the truck. Guello woke up after healing himself with the help of the pill. Art exited the truck to go in search of Robin. He noticed that Guello wasn't in the spot he had shot him dead, but there was blood there. He heard Robin scream from somewhere. Robin was now inside the supermarket looking for a way out when she was attacked by Guello. But Art threw him off her before he could stab her, so Art ended up killing him. Art begged for Robin's help, saying they've got his daughter. She asked him if he had killed her cousin, and he answered that he had died of an overdose. He offered her money right before he became unconscious. He woke up to Robin stitching his wounds at her mom's place of work at the vet. Meanwhile, Frank went to Robin's house, where he saw a car parked outside. He spied into the house, seeing Irene being questioned on Robin's whereabouts by two men. She told them that she didn't know. Frank sneaked into the house, pretending to leave with Irene as her boyfriend. He managed to send the men away from the house, not after planting a phone in their vehicle. He explained to Irene that he was a friend of hers and that she was mixed into things she shouldn't. Art questioned Robin why she was dealing drugs instead of going to school. She explained that her mum had diabetes and she needed to do an expensive operation. He told her that she could have joined the army, saying that they would have taken care of the problem. She told him that she raps, which made Art laugh, then he taunted Robin into agreeing to rap. She asked him for random words, which she used to rap, impressing Art. Frank tracked the people who had been at Robin's house using the phone he had planted. Art headed to his truck, telling Robin that he wanted to go take back what was taken from him. Robin had his truck keys, asking him to pay her for the help she had rendered to him and for kidnapping her. He agreed, so she gave him back his keys. She saw a picture of Tracy, telling him that she looked like him. She asked him if he was sure the guy with the beard, Wallace, had taken her, so he told her about Telios, a private defense contractor who recruited and experimented on him and some other rangers to create super soldiers. Robin asked him about his power. He told her that he had tried it once and a lot of people had been hurt, so he swore never to use it again. His daughter Tracy was born after the experiments. She exhibited symptoms of powers without ever taking the drug, and he told them that he didn't want them experimenting on her like they did on him, so he took off with her to protect her. While he was talking about it, he suddenly started seeing things, remembering when Tracy was taken by Wallace, a Telios operative. Robin and Art got to the location. Art stole the bike keys of a guy named Moto, who was going to the demonstration with his girlfriend Candy, and he gave them to Robin as payment for kidnapping her. Robin wants to follow him inside the place, but he refused, telling her to wait for him until he came back. He subdued the security stationed inside, wearing his clothes, and he used the access key he found with him to access the elevator. Inside, Biggie tried to sell his potential clients on the abilities of the pill. Frank saw Robin there. He told her that her mum was worried about her. Then, he showed her a picture of Art, asking if she knew him. She denied knowing Art, which Frank didn't believe. He accused Art of being the maker of the power pill, but Robin tried to tell him that he was only after his daughter and shutting down the operation, which Frank didn't believe. Inside, Candy was given a pill to take as a test subject, and she was closed inside an enclosed glass tube. She exhibited the power of ice as she took the pill, impressing the client. Meanwhile, Art killed one of the security guys, impaling his jaw into a sharp object. Art confronted Biggie, showing him a picture of Wallace and Gardner. But just then, a scream was heard from one of the servers, having discovered the dead security guy. Art immediately held Biggie captive, warning his men to drop their guns. Biggie begged for his life, and the client only cared about making away with the suitcase containing the pills, telling Art to do anything he liked with Biggie. A shootout broke out. Biggie tried escaping while Candy was left inside the tube, and her power worked against her. Her boyfriend Moto tried to help her, but unfortunately she froze herself. Art subdued the last of Biggie's men, and stopped Biggie from escaping. He shot Biggie, getting a location to Wallace and Gardner's location on his ship. But just then, Frank appeared pointing his gun at Art, telling him to drop his gun, which he did. While Art tried to convince Frank that he was making a mistake, Biggie took a pill, making him increase in size. He went after them. While trying to escape, Frank took some pills he saw laying around, and Art shot at the gas, causing an explosion that killed Biggie. Frank arrested Art, not listening to Robin's plea that Art was innocent and was only looking for his daughter. Art told her to go home. On their way to the station, Frank called in the arrest to his captain, leaving him a voicemail. At the crime scene, Robin saw Wallace, so she followed his vehicle with the bike Art had given her. Meanwhile, Art told Frank that he was making a mistake. He told him he should walk away, and explained that his captain was going to instruct him to take Art somewhere else where Frank would be killed and Art would be taken away. Sure enough, Captain Crane sent Frank a text not to go to the police station, but to tell him where he was. Art explained that his captain was taking orders from someone else. The people of New Orleans were being used as test subjects for mass production of the pills, and that he was only looking for his daughter, who the manufacturers were using to get the formula for the pills. Frank asked him how he could help, so Art asked him if he still had the pills he had taken. A team of men picked Art up, but Frank was nowhere to be found. Robin followed the vehicle to a port. There, Frank saw her, so he gave her an earpiece to be a lookout outside. Frank tried to talk his way into the port, but it only got him shot. Luckily, he didn't die because he had taken the pill earlier. He killed the security guards. Meanwhile, Gardner told Art about the good Tracy's DNA could do for a lot of people. But Art told her that she was just a drug dealer. Gardner gave an order to lock him up. Robin sneaked into a vehicle inside the port, which was then transported onto the ship. She found Frank in the security room of the ship, subduing the men there. They saw Art being taken away on a monitor. They almost gave themselves away when they were told to open a door, but they figured it out in time. Frank instructed Robin to run if things didn't go well, as he went after Art, and she would help him open the doors. She turned on the emergency lights, closing the hatch door to the room. Gardner asked Wallace if Art was with him, to which he answered that he was looking at him. So she instructed him to go find why the emergency lights triggered. He left Art with other security personnel. Gardner commanded her ship's captain to get the ship moving. Meanwhile, Robin told Frank where to pass through to get to Art. She saw where Tracy was being held and tried to tell him, but there seemed to be a communication problem. So she informed Frank of a man who was behind him through the ship's speakers, which was heard by everyone. Gunshots were fired from the gun with Frank, and the man seemed to be very flexible after taking the pill, making it hard to subdue him. But with Robin's help, he jammed the man's hand with the door. Hearing the gunshots, Gardner sent men after the intruders. Wallace got to the security room to find Robin gone. Robin escaped through the escape door, taking with her the ship's map. Only one security guard was left with Art, so he persuaded him to free him. Wallace came there right then, dismissing the security guard to fight with Art. Frank appeared right then with his gun. Wallace punched him, sending him into the wall. Frank gave his gun to Art, who shot at Wallace, killing him. Robin found Tracy. She told her that she was there with her dad. They heard people approaching, so they hid under a hidden compartment, coming out when Gardner and the guard left. Frank and Art arrived at the meeting point he had told Robin, but they didn't find Robin or Tracy, though they soon arrived. Father and daughter hugged each other. Then, they all went looking for an escape route, unaware that they were being trailed by one of Gardner's men. The man took the pill, which grew out a sharp protruding tusk-like thing from his hand. He used it to attack Art. Art instructed Frank to take Tracy and Robin to the lifeboat, but on their way there, Robin diverted somewhere else, seeing Art and the man fighting and wanting to help. Frank and Tracy hid inside a lifeboat with a hatch door. Robin helped Art weaken the man, after which Art told her to join the others at the lifeboat. She rushed to do so, but she was apprehended on her way there. Art killed the man, impaling him on his own tusk. He got to the lifeboat, but Robin was not there. They heard Gardner telling them to give up Tracy for Robin. Frank tried to go, but he was wounded, so Art went instead, intending to use the remaining pill. He told Gardner to let Robin go, and she would let her live. She responded that he was not in a place to negotiate, so he told Robin how thankful he was for her help. Then, he took the pill, which made Gardner give the order to kill him, but it was too late. A wave emits from Art. He launches very strong heat waves at Gardner's men, which consumes their bodies, burning them out. Robin ducks out of the way. Gardner is killed as well. Then, Art falls unconscious. Tracy uses her power to revive him, and they all leave the ship using the lifeboat. Art asks Frank what he was going to do. Frank responds that he would find an uncompromised reporter to tell all that went down so he can bring down his captain and everyone involved. Art tells Frank that he was done with the whole thing, so he was leaving with Tracy. He tells Robin to check the trunk of his truck as he gives her the keys. He tells her that there's something great about her while he hugs her. Art and Tracy drive away. Frank hands Robin's mom's phone to her. She asks him how her mom's phone was with him, and he responds that it's a long story. Robin finds a bag full of money in the trunk, which she takes home. She would use it to cover her mother's medical needs. Meanwhile, Robin's music is announced on the radio sometime later as she begins a new career as a rapper. Subscribe for more daily videos. Your support, likes, shares, and subscriptions mean a lot. See you in the next video.